Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, the podcast where we discuss all things Mexico, La Liga MX, and USMNT. My name is Adrian. Joining me once again, my cousin Tocayo Adrian on this late night. Adrian, how are you, brother?
Dude, I'm tired, man. I'm tired. It's been a long ass week, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I have the next 2 days to just chill. But yeah, I don't like these freaking 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. matches. and whatnot.
Oh, you're off the next 2 days?
Yeah,
That's
thankfully.
dope. I work half
Yeah.
a day tomorrow, but then that's it. But Adrian, yeah, late match, Mexico-Honduras, the other semifinal for the Gold Cup 2025. Mexico needing to win to get into the final to play USMNT in Houston on Sunday. And Mexico doing that, Adrian, winning 1-0 with a goal from Raúl Jiménez in the 50th minute. Would have been more, would have been 2-0, but they took away Edson Alvarez's goal from I guess offside, you want to call it an
Offside,
offside.
yeah. Uh-huh.
But, it took VAR a while to kind of revise that and check it. But pretty professional performance from Mexico, Adrian. I don't really think they were ever really troubled much from Honduras. It was another statement defensive performance from Mexico after they took that lead. They pretty much just ceded the ball, possession to Honduras, let them have it. They knew they weren't going to be a real threat. And, we're just handling it with defense, right? I think Araujo stood out. He did really well, a really nice match this game. We've seen him playing in Gold Cup these last couple matches, so I think he's finally coming to his own. But before we talk specifics, Adrian, why don't you go through the starting lineup for Mexico and give us some stats?
Sure. Starting lineup, Luis Angel Malagón at the helm of the goal. As you mentioned, Julian Araujo on the right back, Cesar Montes, Johan Vazquez, and Mateo Chavez. The only change between this game and the last one is Mateo Chavez starting ahead of Jesus Gallardo, who was uneligible due to accumulation of yellow cards from the last game. And then you have Gilberto Mora, Edson Alvarez, and Marcel Ruiz, El Piojo Alvarado, Raúl Jiménez, and in Nalgón, Alexis Vega at the front. So it is a 4-3-3 formation that we've seen El Vasco Aguirre using over the last couple of matches here in Gold Cup, which I think he's starting to realize that he needed to go back to being a little more pragmatic, a little more going back to, I guess, to his roots, shall we say. And it's been working so far. So that's pretty much how the lineup it's looking like. I really enjoy seeing Gilberto Mora starting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think Marcel Ruiz also had a decent game today. And I don't know what you think, but Mateo Chavez, for me, Mateo Chavez is finally a contender for that left back position in Mexico.
No, I think he had a great match today. A position we know that has been Jesus Gallardo's for the longest time, right? Just because nobody else has popped up. But it was a fortunate accumulation of yellow cards that gave him the chance, and I think it was a good performance. I think this is a very strong back four. A back four I like to see. We've often seen what's his name, Jorge
Sanchez,
yeah, in the back, and he's a very up and down player, usually more down than up, right? But Araujo has been solid, and Mateo Chavez as well, and obviously the back two that we've gotten used to. Malagón, can't say much about him this match; wasn't really tested, but I agree with you. Gilberto Mora, his first assist in for Mexico colors, right?
And it was a really good one. Yeah, it was his first assist with Mexico. A really good assist, if you ask me. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we expect to see from him. He's I don't know if he's the youngest Mexican player to ever give an assist in the Selección Mexicana, but he definitely continues to be the youngest Mexican player that has ever debuted with Mexico in any official FIFA competition. So big kudos for this guy. He plays at Cholos. I heard there's some interest from some teams in Europe. I hope to see him go to like Eredivisie, Portugal, or Jupiler Pro League in Belgium. But it's refreshing to see Gilberto Mora. And listen, it's nice to see him. But the big plus for me is that this means that Charlie Rodriguez gets to freaking sit on the bench, which is I don't mean, you know how I feel about Charlie Rodriguez, right? Nothing personal against him, but I think his time with Selección Mexicana is pretty much past due. So it's nice. It's good to see that we finally start to see, like, I guess the big changes on the players that we have been calling for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, man. I think it's also a change in, I guess, team atmosphere and what is it called? Like mentality because with Vasco and Marquez at the helm, man, I'm noticing things that you never used to see in La Selección Mexicana. Like Honduras on a counterattack, they take a break for water or something, and then Israel Reyes comes up to Araujo and coaches him, tells him, "Hey, you got to do this. You got to do this." You're seeing that. I don't know, that mentality. Everybody's in it, man, and I don't know. It's nice to see this Mexico squad honestly
Yeah,
playing well and playing together for once. And I think Vasco finally has a solid 11, man. Alexis Vega, Piojo Alvarado, and Raúl Jiménez up front. Piojo Alvarado's kind of hit or miss, but I think it works. It has
he
worked
likes
this
them.
tournament,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's something that Vasco likes, right?
hmm Yeah, I think it has worked so far. As we say, Mexico a secas, or like it's worked, right? It's perhaps one of those areas where I think Mexico can definitely improve. I mean, you have Chino Huerta on the bench. You can probably start ahead of Piojo Alvarado. But if Javier Aguirre likes the work rate that Piojo Alvarado brings, which I think that's the only reason why he's starting ahead of Chino Huerta, is because yeah, Piojo Alvarado has a heavy work rate both defending and going up. So he definitely complements that side of the pitch pretty well, um, by doing coverages or just being like an outlet for long breaks if needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, I know that a lot of the pundits, especially the ones in Fútbol Picante and whatnot, they love to dog Mexico. They really enjoy just tearing them apart. And I there's some, I think, valid criticism on the things that they say, right? I mean, it's true Mexico's not playing the greatest that we've seen, but it's been a while since we've seen this consistency with Mexico, right? I mean, at least it feels that
Yeah,
they are now, as you mentioned, like they are
on the
in it.
uptrend.
Exactly. They feel like a team now. They feel like they are clicking with each other. And listen, I don't know if you were able to hear some of my reaction videos or some of my preview videos before you came back. But one thing that I was mentioning is like, hey, on the Switzerland game, on the Turkey game, even against República Dominicana, I saw Mexico having this lack of chemistry. And I think it's because El Vasco was trying to do things that he's not necessarily used to, like getting out of his comfort zone, which is great. But again, realizing that hey, this team reacts well to a 4-3-3 formation. It's something that he is very comfortable with, and it seems to suit the Mexican players as of right now. Granted, this is Gold Cup. This is not a strong parameter to say if Mexico's going to have a successful run in 2026. I mean, we saw him against Switzerland and Turkey. Those are preparation matches. He tried a few things. But to me, it's that it at least feels, compared to the Ococa, compared to Jimmy Lozano, it feels a little more established in a way.
Yeah, and you say this is Gold Cup, but this is all that Mexico has left before the World Cup.
Yeah.
Like in
Mhm.
terms of competitive matches, yeah, they can play friendly matches, but you're never going to get that same intensity, right? And
No.
even though this Gold Cup, we know that these Centroamericanos love playing hard against Mexico.
Mhm.
Right, that's their World Cup. So this is a challenge. Even it was a 1-0 win, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't by any means an easy win, but it was a professional, comfortable win, like we said, for Mexico, who now takes their record against Honduras to 30 wins, 9 losses, and 9 draws in their ninth Gold Cup meeting, right? With Mexico
Mhm.
holding a 6-win, 1 loss, 2 draws in Gold Cup all time against Honduras. Mexico gonna play a Mauricio Pochettino team in the final that likes to play a 4-2-3-1. We'll do our preview video on that. But
Mhm.
basing this, reacting to this match against Honduras, where they played with the 2 strikers up top, right, 2 forwards. We know Pochettino likes to play with just 1 forward, a forward who's kind of low on confidence right now. That's got to be a huge benefit for Mexico, knowing that they're going into this final with a strong backline, right?
It has to. It has to. I think the biggest strength here is what you just mentioned. Is well, not what you just mentioned, but what we've been discussing throughout this episode is um, the the biggest takeaway or the biggest mission on this Gold Cup, both for Mexico and the USMNT, and even if you want to mention Canada, right, was f- pretty much understanding that this is going to be 90% of the squad that you're going to take to the World Cup. Like this is a tournament. This is the last big tournament you have before the World Cup. So you had to use these matches to ensure that you were finding the structure for the starting 11, and also pretty much having a good grasp of, hey, out of the 23 players that I can take, at least I know 18 are here. There's room for 5. So I think that's the biggest strength here, is that Mexico has been playing with a very similar back four, right? Of course, Cesar Montes and Johan Vasquez and Malagón are always like the mainstays there. But if we used to have questions about the left and the right backs, right? I think we found answers on this World Cup, and I hope that those answers continue to be competitive as we get closer to 2026. So going back to your question, I think it will be a nice challenge for this back four, not necessarily on the Aguiman side, but the Diego Luna side, the Timothy Tillman side,
Yeah.
right? Those are the players that can unlock very tight low blocks like Mexico likes to have. I think those two players will be key to pretty much finding the breakthroughs of the Mexican defense, and those two players will be the challenge for this back four.
Yeah, and I think Vasco's aware of that. That those have been the two better players for USMNT in this tournament, and it's going to be something that they're going to have to lock down. And on the other side, that Vasco's going to be aware that the USMNT's back line isn't as stable as it should be, and that Raúl Jiménez and Lobo could go up there and really do some damage. Again, we'll dive deeper into this during our preview episode, but it's a good win for Mexico tonight, winning 1-0,
So.
advancing to the final, and I think all fans will be positive about this. Really, I think the only one negative other than that I could think of was that Santi Jimenez still looks kind of not really in rhythm and in sync with the team when he comes on. Right?
It's a shame, man. It's a shame because people wanted to make him like a clutch player. They wanted to make him like the go-to player for Mexico.
Yeah.
But we have discussed this plenty of times, and I think we're going to continue to do so until he finds his feet with Mexico. But it's just not clicking with him for whatever reason. I don't understand if it's El Vasco Aguirre's style or if it's just that maybe like I don't even want to say like a drop in talent compared to what he has at the club level, right? But I think we need to move on from thinking that Santi Jimenez is a clutch player or will be, or it's supposed to be a clutch player for Mexico, and just think of him as a super sub or the next in line. But the responsibility of carrying Mexico forward should not fall on him.
This is Raúl's World Cup.
I think if Raúl Jiménez remains healthy and no big injuries, continues to contribute at a good pace with Fulham, there's no question in my mind that Raúl Jiménez will start ahead of Santi Jiménez. Even if Santi Jiménez turns up Serie A and is the top scorer, right? I just don't see how Raúl Jiménez lets Santi Jiménez start ahead of him with Mexico. And listen, Raúl Jiménez actually benefits El Vasco Aguirre's game style, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's way more. He's still physical. He can play on either side of the pitch. He can be a false nine. He can be a go-to striker. He can be a poacher. I mean, he drops from to a closer midfield line, so he can grab the ball and spread the cheese. And Santi Jimenez doesn't do that. Santi Jimenez is just a poacher. He's just a target striker. That's what he is, and it's okay. Maybe that's the reason why he's not working for Mexico, but it's a shame. The other negative that I also saw on this match, and I'll try to be quick, is Mexico continues to struggle when teams lock themselves down. I think what we saw against Honduras, when we saw the previous match, they both have, and even before that, Mexico struggles to unlock the very low blocks, very tight knit. Elbow to elbow kind of defensive strategies, right? This Honduras game, sure, Mexico didn't struggle significantly against them at any point in time throughout the match, but I do have to say that it's a challenge for El Vasco Aguirre to understand how to overcome those obstacles, because maybe if Mexico moves on to the next phase in the World Cup, they probably don't have to see Mexico doesn't have to defend. Mexico will have to defend, but on the group stage, the expectation is that Mexico goes on the offense, right? I don't think the challenge will be a huge one, at least for I don't know how, two or three matches or whatever it is. So there's just another negative is they continue to struggle to find a solution for low blocks.
Thankfully, I doubt they'll be facing a low block in the final. USMNT has tried low blocks before to very little success, and I don't think they will be trying that against Mexico, knowing that that's not their forte, not something they're good at, especially with this defense. So I agree with you. The low blocks can be annoying to Mexico, but I think, man, even if they win a 1-0 win, they're not going to care, right? Like you said, in the World Cup, the bigger teams are not going to play low blocks against them. It's going to be the smaller, your first group stage. Yes. We know it's going to be a 48 team World Cup, so you're going to play a lot of these smaller teams in the group stage that are going to be low blocking.
Yeah, you got to be excited to see Mexico against Uzbekistan or something.
There you go. Adrian, man, good win for Mexico. Professional win for Mexico. Vasco Aguirre's squad is now in the final. As we wrap up this episode, brother, where can our listeners find us, dude?
They can always find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Last but not least, you can also find us on Instagram, TikTok. We post memes, latest news, and shorts of our episodes.
Yeah, so be sure to follow us on your preferred social media platform of choice. Let us know in the comments below. We like reading your guys' comments. What are your thoughts on Mexico's professional 1-0 win against Honduras? Are you excited for the final in Houston, Mexico versus USA? What are your thoughts on that game? And yeah, who are your standout players for this Mexico match? What do you rate Vasco Aguirre's tactics for this match? Let us know in the comments below. Adrian, late night. See you in the next one, brother.
Take it easy, man.
See you.